Today, Sister Quintoria is going to lead us in prayer.
Why is she trying to me out like that? Where they do that at? I thought it was already orchestrated that you do the prayer. All right.
Today.
Father God, we come before you humbly in prayer. First of all, thanking you. Thank you for all that you have done, all that you are doing, and everything that is to come. Lord, we pray that you will continue to anoint us, continue to enlighten us, and continue to breathe on us as you are with us each and every step of the way. Lord, we are sending a special prayer to those who are in desperate need of you. Lord, we ask that you meet them where they are, meet the need that they have, Lord, and just continue to be awesome and great as you are and as you always will be forevermore. In Jesus' name, Lord, we thank you.
Amen. Amen. So, today we're like jumping back on a topic that we briefly discussed, but we're going to go more in depth about the complexity of the mother-daughter relationship because we understand and we've heard that we're not the only ones that have dealt with um, this the complexity of the mother-daughter relationship. And so I think I want to just read my poem that I got first. I wrote this for my mom for her birthday in March, and it's to my mother. I appreciate the love and sacrifices that were made for me. I love my mommy radically. Thankful to have had a mother who parented so actively. All those sleepless nights you stayed up just to take care of me. I always had to share you because your love and energy draws people in like gravity. My mother is the epitome of strength, power, and integrity, especially after our lives changed so drastically. It is she who taught me the importance of exuberant tenacity, washed the blood off the carpet after losing her only son so tragically. Like steel, she can withstand pressure at a high level capacity. You taught me how to pray to God and ask Him to heal me. It is because of her I know how to surrender to God, repent, and ask for veracity. So I just want to say shout out to my mommy because yeah, you that part about washing the blood off the carpet, like that's like the highlight of my poem for me because it was just like to be there and to have seen that moment and to watch her stream. She wasn't doing it while she was crying. She was doing it while it was so many people surrounding her, and she was doing it like the tragic event that just took place had never happened, but it was like the strength that she showed. It was like beyond this world to me. Like it was something that I would never. I didn't think I would have the strength to ever be able to be in her position and do that in that moment. Like, yeah, it was deep for me. So I guess I can.
Yeah, that is deep, especially when you think about looking at it like the way that I'm seeing it, the blood that was shed, a mother has to clean. You know, that is deep.
Yeah, and like, listen, okay. So the sleepless nights is me dealing with sickle cell. You know me personally. You know I've dealt with that for 20 years. So literally I would get sick whenever it was never no, oh, this day of the month or after this, or it was like at any point in time. So like she needed to stay up with me to rub my stomach, rub my arms or my legs, whatever it was. She was there putting warm compacts on me, trying to do anything to help take away my pain. um I can remember where she would always like tell me, I know it hurts. I know you probably can't talk, but just say Jesus. Just get that out. Like just say Jesus, even if it's weekend. I can remember being weak, like weak, and I didn't want to say nothing. And here it is. I was getting out the name of Jesus, like no matter what. It was her who literally taught me like how to get on my knees, and I would watch her go into the closet and she would pray for hours. And I'm like, that was something else that like always stood out to me. Like no matter what we had going on, I can bet you that my mom was going to that closet to go ahead and get that prayer out, to get that, to dwell with God and get whatever she needed from him in those moments. So that was like things that like just stood out in my childhood, that I want to commend my mom for.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is.
Yeah.
It's great to have experiences that you can relate and speak on that was life changing at the same time positive. You know, that's always a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Always. So I really don't have none.
What about you and your daughters though? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to speak from my daughter's stance.
No,
you know,
as a
but
mother,
even as a mother, like I just feel like I have to do it. It ain't gonna get done unless I do it.
Okay, I'm saying like, what are some of the things that you see them do that you're like, oh, I'm proud, like that I taught them that, or you know that they can remember this. This could be a.
But sometimes they act like they don't remember. Yeah, excuse me, I am so silly. But like for real, sometimes they act like they don't remember. Like seriously, I'm just like, now I know I didn't teach you this. What are you doing? So I don't know. Maybe the older they get, but the one thing I can say is like my youngest, she's that one that watch and she learned from what she sees. Mm-hmm. So she tries not to repeat or do. Mm-hmm. And if she ends up doing, she hurry up and try to correct it before it gets out of hand or something like that, you know. So
that's me.
I think that I can say she, you know, yeah, probably watching and learning that is something that I could say I've seen her do. My oldest, my oldest is very compassionate. My youngest, she has that other side of me. But my oldest, she's very compassionate, so she's always looking out for other people and being very considerate of other people, regardless to what they've done. Yeah. You know, she's even though she keep a distance, but she's just like, but such and such, you know, or what if we do? I thought you don't talk to them. I don't, but
I would include.
And that really sounds like me. Yeah. I don't really deal with them, but I could do this, you know. So I guess I could say that.
Yeah.
But I think if I just be completely honest in this moment, mm-hmm. I think I've always had the motherly instinct, even as a child, you know, because there were many days where my mom needed somebody to hold her, to encourage her, to say, you know, you got this, you're going to make it. Like, don't worry about, you know. And I always was the one that I didn't want for a lot of stuff mm-hmm. because I knew that my mom couldn't give me a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was good and happy and accepting of what she was able to mm-hmm. do, you know. So, and I never complained or anything, you know what I'm saying? So when I consider that, I would say I probably always have had the motherly instinct. Yeah. So I guess that's a little different.
Yeah.
You know?
And I would like I can piggyback on that and say like I was like there for my mother, and as I went to therapy, I figured out what it was. It was like I switched from being her friend to her child, friend to child, like, and when sometimes I didn't know when to cut it off, and so sometimes she would feel like, oh, I ain't your friend, but certain conversations we have or certain things mm-hmm. we do, it's like, well, I didn't know when to cut it off. So, you know, just to set those boundaries and say, okay, listen, right now I need a friend. Right now I just need you to listen. Or listen, I need you. I need you to be the mom. I need you to just listen and give me some advice when I'm needing it or something like that. Something along those lines. So I wrote down 5 ways I feel we can break the complexity of the mother-daughter relationship from, of course, the research that I've done. So number 1 was digging deep. And when I saw that, I said, okay, we have to like release all the emotions that we have been suppressing, which helps to better understand what impacted our mothers and their actions towards us. This helped by changing my perspective and it brought awareness to my triggers. So it's like a lot of times I was going through like just suppressing the things that I felt weren't right, or I felt like sad or hurt by it, but I never was able to express my emotions really. So a lot of things were suppressed. And as I was writing this, I even started journaling about, the evolution of me and my mom's relationship, and, how, I felt unheard a lot, or how people on the outside would always say, oh, y'all got a good relationship. And really, I was like, I don't know. I'm like, it's not as good as it seems. Like y'all on the outside looking in, but being inside, it was just like, thanks. Like, but she ain't all that in my head. And I'm just like, well, not like she not all that, but the relationship wasn't really what y'all was portraying it to be or what y'all was getting from it. But where we are now, yeah, I could definitely think and take those compliments way better.
Well, I want to piggyback on that because, like, the thing is, like, even though you may have felt that way, but taking consideration that they may not even have a relationship with their mother, it makes a big deal of a difference. You know what I'm saying? So like, and it's funny because I wrote this thing. It's in my phone somewhere. I'm not going to search for it. Anyway, I wrote this thing where I was basically saying that, when a person, first of all, you can't base things that have happened to somebody else. You can't imply it on yourself or your life. You really have to experience things on your own to really understand and see. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, that's the reason why I say for that person or people who have said that to you, they probably didn't have a relationship at all. You know what I'm saying?
And that's understandable.
To be completely honest, if I had seen, you all engaging or interacting, I probably would say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, especially like how your mom call you, check on you, and y'all talk almost every day.
50 times a day.
I don't say y'all no story. I cannot. I can't. I can't talk to my mom every day. But my children will talk to me every day. But they're old time.
But why do you feel like that?
Why I feel like I can't talk to my mom every day? See, there's a such thing called different dynamics of an individual, right? And so the dynamics of my mother in particular, she has a lot going on internal, and she has in the past gotten help by which she stopped getting that help, and she still needs that help. So therefore, it makes it hard for me to really talk to her every day because she's going to repeat the same stuff every day. And a lot of the stuff that she say is negative. And I don't have space for negativity.
You got to say that, man. Listen, my mom probably called me and try to, get a little, just not a little negative or telling me somebody else's stories. And I'd be like, wait a minute, I don't have the energy for that. I feel like that's very draining, or I'll call you back, Mom. Deal with that and call me back or something like that. But
you got to know how to set the boundaries.
Yeah.
And therefore, that is what I do. So, no, we cannot talk every single day.
Yeah.
No. But again, like I said before, that's to each individual.
Yeah.
So
everybody do what's best for y'all to help y'all relationship thrive in a positive way.
Right.
So, you can't talk to her every day. That's understandable. Just set those better to help give her that explanation as to why. So,
Besides, my mama don't want to talk to me every day either, to be honest. She really don't. My mama don't like talking on the phone. I'm serious. She really don't. But when she get on that phone, she don't know how to handle it. But she'll keep saying the same thing over and over again, like, Mom. Okay. Okay. I ain't gonna tell y'all no story, and I know she ain't watching. So I'm gonna tell you. There have been many occasions I will actually sit the phone down and let her talk, and I go do what I'm doing, and I can hear her calling my name. So I pick it up. I'm here.
I was right here. You hear me?
I'm right here. But so Again, if you have that type of relationship, even if it don't have to be your mother, it could be anybody.
Yeah,
you have to know how to set those boundaries. And so that is what I do. But go ahead.
Definitely dig deep. Number 2 was accept limitations. So, my perception that I got from by accepting limitations, I said by realizing what she did and the things that she would say, she probably saw her mother do and say those things. And so it was like a repeated cycle. And she was basically, raising me based off of how she was raised. And so me learning to like accept her past and the way she was brought up. Um, and just really having those uncomfortable conversations because it really took a lot of work. I'm not gonna say it's overnight. It's gonna get better. Like literally have to have some uncomfortable conversations with your mother. So if you truly want to heal and have a better relationship with her, so you guys can grow. I also felt like my mom would show favoritism to her son, and I know a lot of times she'll tell me stories about how her mom like showed favoritism to my uncle, who was her only son, and so I'm like, yeah, and then it helped me to better understand like why she would be so angry, and just us having those uncomfortable conversations. I got to learn her on a whole new level, like okay, cool. Like we never actually sat down and talked about these things, or so once we actually did, and she was really responding in a way that wasn't argumentative or confrontational. You have to have those conversations out of love. Let's start there.
Yeah,
you have to have those conversations out of love so that the other person is able to accept what you're saying without feeling like, oh, you're just being negative, or because if you're coming off in a negative way, it's going to be hard for anybody to accept what you're saying, because like I can't even get past your attitude. I can't even get past your
body language.
Yeah, the tone. Like, yeah, seriously. So it's like,
wait, what?
No, seriously. And it's like when we first, started having these conversations, and my mom's body language and her response, it like turned me off a little. And I'm like, no, I really need for us to have a better relationship. Like, I really, I really want this. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna get past that because I know I'm not coming to you to offend you. I'm coming to you out of love, and just to be authentic and really let you know how I feel, and so that we can get through these things. And it really opened up her eyes. Like, even though it didn't do it that first conversation, maybe not even that second conversation, but along the way, it really helped to open her eyes to see, what, well, that's because I was raised like that. And, I don't mean to downplay your feelings. So it's just like a level of respect that we've gained from each other by accepting those limitations.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, my mom, I believe the way she was raised, she had 3 other siblings, 2 brothers and a sister. And my mom and her mom's relationship, I would say it wasn't necessarily the best, but like I believe that my mom may have felt that the favoritism was shown towards the younger 2 versus her and her brother, which they have the same dad. And the younger 2 have the same, well, her and her brother oldest brother have the same dad, and the youngest 2 have the same dad. So she felt that her and her brother were treated differently, not by my grandmother, but by their father, the kid's father. And that's, I can see that. I can see how that happened. So that's the reason why it's very important for people, like when you have a mixed family where you have a new husband or whatever, and you have kids by him, you have to make sure that the children that you already have don't feel left out, don't feel picked on or abandoned in any kind of way, because even though you can be a loving mother or a loving father, the other parents that have stepped into the household can create a difference and a division to where the child can feel left out. the child can feel like you don't care. The child can feel like you choosing him over me,
Yeah.
you know. And I think that that's probably the place my mother was in. But with me knowing my grandmother and the type of person that she is, I couldn't see that because she treated all of us the same, you know, even though she may have bragged on a couple of the others more so than the others, which granted that happens sometimes, but like not being so taking things so personal, that's the one thing that I aim not to do now that I've matured. Like I try not to take nothing personal because I understand that people are who they are. They're gonna do what they do, you know. So to really go back to what I was saying, like with my mother, with her having that experience, even though her and her mother may have had a good relationship, but by her feeling like she, lack of better words, chose her younger children's father over her children, that created a bitterness. So that bitterness flowed into the raising of me and my brother. You know what I'm saying? So the way she would respond to us, you know, it was out of bitterness towards her mother, you know, and sometimes that can be overbearing, you know, as the parent who's raising her own children and not really understanding how to be there for them emotionally, not just physically, but you know, mentally, and be able to support them. It was very hard for her because she felt that she lacked that. So that made
it showed up.
Right, it showed up in her rearing of me and my brother. You know, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I felt like she showed a lot of favoritism with my brother because I had to clean the whole house and that little buddy had to do nothing. And I'm looking and let him up the floor. Oh, she got so many praises. I'm looking like I just cleaned the refrigerator, the stove, the oven, the bathroom, like what?
But that's another thing. I feel like my mom and her mom, like their relationship, you know, wasn't really good, or how can I explain it? I feel like my mom tried to, in a sense, kind of like be better than her mom was, but I think like the bitterness came about and showed up throughout our relationship, whereas it kind of threw me off sometimes because I'm like, yeah, I think I wouldn't say was trying too hard, but she did, I want to say, do things differently than her mother, but it was other things that she lacked. So, you know, while trying to be a better mother than her mother, she, you know, she was there for us, and she, like I said, those sleepless nights, and I'm in the hospital, she's spending the night, I'm not staying by myself, you know, she's always been there, but it's just like, it was some other things where she lacked, where I felt she, you know, could have been better at, like with the expressing of emotions, or, you know, us just talking some things out. Like I know in our household, things that happen, and a couple days later we'll just act like nothing ever happened. And that's where the suppressing comes in, because it's like I wasn't able to express these things, so now they just sitting here in my gut and it's triggering me. So yeah, try to have those uncomfortable conversations so you could learn to accept those limitations and get to know your mother or daughter on a whole new level.
But I also think a lot of times, to just piggyback on what you said, when we are doing things and we're being proactive about doing it, that's because we're consciously doing it. But like if you live in a particular type of environment or under certain circumstances, subconsciously that's stuck in your mind.
Yeah.
So even when you are not intentionally acting out or responding in that manner, it tends to come out that way because that's something you experience and you may have experienced over and over again. So it's kind of hard to break unless it's a conscious effort.
Yeah.
So I know that tends to, you know, play a role in our lives just as humans altogether. But also I wanted to piggyback on you when you was talking about the body language, the defensive body language. Like even today, when I talk to my mom about different things, I can say it very calmly to her. Like we've had discussions about how she responds and the things that she does even today. And the way that she would respond to me, she would come off yelling, and then I know one time she just started crying and started, just being very expressive as to how she was treated growing up. And I'm like, listen to me. I'm not blaming you.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming you at all. I understand. I do. So please don't think I don't. I mean, like, if I didn't understand, I wouldn't be talking to you.
Right.
But I understand.
Once you get to that understanding, it's like, okay, we need to have these conversations. We need to talk about these things.
And even though I kept an even, calm tone, she still took offense to it. But as I kept telling her, like, I kept my tone low and I kept explaining to her over and over again, I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. You have came a very long way. A very long way. And I'm not blaming you for anything. I understand.
Yeah.
So by me continuing to talk to her like that, her defense mechanism came down.
Yeah.
And she started to listen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
She
realized, okay, this is out of love.
Exactly. So that's like a good pointer too to take into consideration. Like, even if you are in the midst of a conversation with someone and they come out very defensively, with the tone, the volume, the body language, and all that, you can.
Don't fight fire with fire.
Right, you can water it. You can throw some water on it. Bring it down some. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not angry. I'm not targeting you.
Yeah.
If you want to have this discussion a little later, we can. Just keep your tone very low and even. And even your body language, you can even have a smile on your face when you're saying. I tell my children all the time, it's the way you say things.
Yeah.
It's not always what you say.
It's
the way you say it.
Yeah.
So you tell me you don't want to do something because you don't feel like you should have to. I don't want to do that because I feel like I should have to. I got a problem with that. But if you say, Mom, I really don't want to do that. I don't feel like I should have to do that. Oh, okay.
You might take that better.
Right.
It's when you coming off, it's like,
right.
You transfer that energy now.
Yeah. I'm going to rub it back. It makes a difference.
It definitely makes a difference. Number 3 was to encourage trust and evolution. So from that, I got, there was a stage in our relationship where I didn't really trust that she would be there when I needed her. And so I just stopped telling her about things that were going on with me. Like, I know I expressed this on the last episode about, how she would walk away during like these uncomfortable conversations that I would try to bring up because she really couldn't express her emotions then, or, she wasn't really had enough self-awareness to say, well, you know what, that's not a good thing that I do. That's not a good trait that I have. I feel honest engagement is the foundation to any relationship, enabling trust, clarity, and evolution. So, yeah, those honest engagements and just, and listen, I just always told her, like, I need us to be better. I need everything to start aligning, especially when I'm like real strong on foundation this year, like literally so strong on foundation. It's like, and I'm like, the number one relationship that mattered to the most in my foundation was me and my mom's relationship. So it's like, boom, this is the first relationship that I want to work on. And yes, ever since then, it's like we literally can encourage that trust. I trust that she will be there when I need her. She can trust that I'll be there when she needs me. I can still turn it off from friend to daughter. Just let me know when you need me to be which way. We're doing a really, really good job at setting those boundaries and respecting one another and encouraging one another. And we're evolving like daily. Like,
that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Oh.
Yeah, I love it. But y'all gonna have to read the book to get like the backstory.
So to piggyback on what you were saying about self-awareness, like, I think that a lot of times people don't want to be aware of self, because they're not ready for change. They're not ready to take the responsibility for their actions. So self-awareness is like is a big thing.
No
that you
facts.
really,
They're gonna look at themselves like, wow, I'm kind of messed
like,
up.
exactly. Like, wait a minute.
A lot of
But
parents
then when they do that,
and then they feel like they're too far ahead in life, like, oh well, I done lived 65 years. I'm just stay the same.
But when they do decide to look at themselves, that's when they really have to do the inner work.
Yeah. Seriously.
If they really want that change.
If you really want that change.
So, like that's big. You know what I'm saying? And like even if you are aware of yourself, and you like you said, knowing your triggers and things of that nature, even when you are aware of yourself, sometimes you still can not be aware of certain things that deal with certain people. You know what I'm saying? And you really have to get in tune with that because it truly impacts your relationship.
Seriously.
A lot.
Seriously.
And I'm so with you on the foundation. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say something about everything that you say.
Go ahead. Listen, go ahead.
Like you said in reference to the foundation, like foundation is vital.
Seriously.
It's vital because if you don't have a starting point,
a firm foundation.
Exactly, very firm. Like it has to be solid.
Or it's gonna crumble.
Exactly. Like my favorite phrase is the foundation on every ship has to be firm. Otherwise the ship will sink. I don't care what kind of ship it is. It will sink.
It's going to.
If you got cracks in it, it's gonna sink. So you got to have a very strong foundation, and that's powerful. Yeah. Really. Yeah. Especially to like really focus on that and being intentional with your foundation. No, that is powerful.
Like so intentional. Like everything I do is being done with intent at this moment, like at this point in my life, because like I have goals, I have dreams, and it's like I can't have just anybody around that's gonna sink my ships, or have my buildings come crumbling down. Like, no, the empire that I'm trying to build, the longevity that I'm thinking about and dreaming about and praying about, is like everybody can't come with you. When they say that, they ain't being mean. It's just it's true. Everybody can't come with you.
True. It's so much truth in there because everybody's not on your level.
Exactly.
And everybody's not meant to go where you're going. You know?
So, point 4 was honoring dreams and time. So what I got from that was I've always felt like my mom was a control freak growing up, and she never really honored my dreams because she felt I should be doing it her way. And now that we're on this new level and we're getting to know one another on a much deeper level, we each other's number one fans. So it's like, girl, I'm rooting for you, you rooting for me. We're going to call each other. We're going to pray in the morning. We go pray in the afternoon when I'm fasting. She like, yeah, I want to do a fast. We doing it together, whatever it is. Like, we're learning to just honor each other's dreams and our time. We both make so much time for each other. Like she said, me and my mom talk every day. Probably 50 times a day, and I'm not even exaggerating. We talk like all day. We used to do this thing where we would call each other. We haven't done it in a couple months, but we would literally call each other on FaceTime, and we'll cook the same meal, so you can just kind of feel like we're together. It's just like little things like that because my mom loves to cook. So it's like I try to, step into her world and do things that, she likes to do. And, she does the same. So, she'll, I grounded the other day. I did some yoga, stuff like that. Like she'll call me and let me know she did some things that I like to do. So, we're getting better at understanding each other, one another. So we did. I also wrote that we have created a safe place where we can come to one another for love, honesty, and advice. Like it's not just us just talking about our relationship, but even our friendships or anything where we're asking each other for advice or what you think about this, or do you think I should wait for that? Just to have somebody just be brutally honest with you and know that it's coming from a place of love. It's just like, it's a different type of feeling. It's like, okay, I understand you now. I get it. Like, it's good.
And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, understanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only way you can have that understanding is if you have communication.
Yeah.
And the only way you have communication is you're willing to open up. And if you're willing to open up, then you're willing to do the inner work, because at some point it's gonna have to take place.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to take place, regardless to what you think or how you think you can go around it. You can't. You have to do the inner work.
You gotta go through it
exactly.
to get through it.
Really do, because if you don't, you're gonna repeat the same cycle, and you don't want to continue to repeat the cycle. So you really have to do that inner work. And something else you were saying when you talked about the experiences, like that's what life is all about. You know what I'm saying? So when you are experiencing life, you're learning, and as you learn, you transform.
Yeah,
you become
but you have
better.
To put those lessons into play. Yeah, you should. Seriously, you can't be like, "Oh, I learned from that," and then do it again.
Because in reality, you didn't learn.
You ain't learned. Like, if you would have learned from it, you wouldn't be doing it again. And exactly. I know I've been there, like, oh, I learned from this. And then, boom, I'm repeating the same cycle. And it's like, let's break these cycles. Let's break these curses.
Something else that just came to my mind. Sometimes when you do repeat cycles, you may have learned something.
Yeah.
But you didn't get the core of the lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you're not able to move on and elevate until you understand and fully get the core of the lesson. Because there are a lot of things that happen. In fact, really everything that happens in your life is to really show you.
Yeah.
It's to show you who you are, your level of strength, your level of understanding, your level of cooperating, just everything that deals with you. Life really shows you who you are and what you're capable of.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Some people haven't just sat back and reflected though, like, because again, we want to suppress these feelings because a lot of people still can't express their emotions, and it comes up in different ways, and you're like, why are you just always angry? Or it's just probably because they have been suppressing so many emotions, so many negative emotions, that they don't even understand how to push through or get through or get those things out, be able to release those emotions so that they can be restored, so that God can restore you. In order for him to restore you, you have to release those things. Yeah. So pray for that. Pray for the power of releasing anything that's not of God, anything that's against you and your thoughts and your body. Like, pray for those things so that you're able to really walk in your purpose, really figure out your destiny. Because until you got all of those emotions gonna start weighing you down, trust me, it eventually is just gonna start weighing you down. You're gonna be like, oh, I just want to change. I just need something better. Like, and if you ain't getting there, it's like if that's how you feel you want to go through the rest of your life, I could continue to pray for you and hope that that's not something you want to do. But I mean, like you said, some people are really not willing to do that work. They're not willing to say, wow, I was wrong. This is something I needed to unlearn from my childhood and relearn something new from what my children are telling me. Yeah. So just, be open-minded,
It may not be easy.
It's not easy.
But I promise you it's worth it. It's so worth it.
So worth it.
It's a beautiful thing to be able to wake up and smile and just be thankful for another chance, another opportunity. Like, that's a beautiful thing, So it's worth it. It's worth it. Even if you are in your mess and you still thankful. But like, when you get into a place of positivity and you surround yourself with positivity, the only thing you can do is grow. Like, when you think about the sun shines and gives you the nutrients to grow. Even the plants, the trees, everything. Like, and that's the sun is positive, Although, you may think it's negative because it's heat, but in reality, it's positive because it's light. Anything of light that shines bright is positivity. I promise you that.
Seriously.
Definitely.
So, on to the last tip. It was to stop judging. I kind of stumbled over that because I literally probably judged my mom so much, probably everything she did. I probably had something to say about it. Because of where I was at and the things that I was suppressing, and made me just like look at her in a whole different light. Like, yeah, so I stopped judging her mistakes, and I was able to dig deep. I learned to accept those limitations and on the love she was capable of giving to me. And I'm sure she judged me on some things of about not wanting to do things her way, or it was probably a couple things she probably could have judged me on. I mean, she never said it to me, but I'm sure there were some things. But just trust your process. Again, like you said, some parents may not be willing to open up. Just trust the process of making things easier.
It's 6 o'clock.
Thank you. To break that complexity of your unhealthy relationships, because who wants to have an unhealthy relationship with their mom? Like, nobody. Or if the mother isn't willing to do that work and unlearn and relearn those things, you still do the work for you and your children. You understand. So you just take a mental note of, okay, this is why my mom probably acting like this. Just think about the things that she went through in her childhood. If it's not easy for you to understand, like, why she don't want to open up, or why she don't want to make things better. Think about how hard it was for her to express her emotions, or what happened in her environment as a child, as to why she might be so angry, or things of that nature. Like, just step outside of yourself and try to understand, not just for you, but also for your mother on her behalf. So that makes things a little easier too, because like I said, it wasn't easy in the beginning. So I had to keep pushing it and keep pushing these conversations, because it's like, oh, what made you, why are you acting like this? Why are you feeling like you gotta act like this? Or why are you rejecting or pulling away? And I'm forcing it, and she's pulling, and it's just like, well, I'm just gonna have to chase you down, man. But it's just like, yeah, I don't know. One day she just, kind of opened up, and we were able to come to this understanding. But I think I did for a moment just put myself in her shoes, and was like, and thought about some of the stories that she told me. And I'm thinking like, well, yeah, everything wasn't peaches and cream for her. So it's like, yeah, just had to have some compassion towards her, and show a little softness towards the whole situation, because I don't know, I know probably like the second or third conversation I actually like told her these conversations are out of love, but I don't know about the first couple ones. Like, they probably were done from anger, because of how I was feeling, and I was just fed up with something. So again, be mindful about just speaking your truth from a place of love, so that that your parent or your child can better understand you.
Yeah, and it's really hard to be expressive when you have not been allowed to express yourself. So it makes it hard, whether you're the child or whether you're the parent, the mother or daughter. It makes it really hard, because you just don't know what to say, or even how to say it, because you've always maybe been told to shut up, or and when you're told that, it shuts you down to where it's like, don't nobody want to hear what I got to say. Don't nobody really care, And when a person starts to feel like that takes them into a whole nother area where they seek other things and other ways of doing things. So like, that not being able to express yourself is a big thing, and it's a thing that we all should come out of. Like, I can definitely say I was always told to shut up. Always. I can't recall a time I wasn't told to shut up, and even got hit in my mouth a few times. But it wasn't because I was being disrespectful. It's because I felt I had a voice, and I felt that you should listen to me. I listen to you. You should hear what I have to say, because my feelings count.
Mhm.
The way I feel right now about what you're saying and what you're doing, it counts. It matters. And for a very long time, because I was always told to shut up,
Mhm.
it took me a long time to get to a place of willing to speak up and to speak out, you know.
Mhm.
And when you gain that freedom to speak, it's life changing.
What?
Like, it is life
A whole
changing.
new level of confidence, a whole new level of boldness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what really helped me to become more expressive was therapy, dwelling with God, and but therapy most definitely. I was talking to my therapist today, matter of fact, and we was talking about how in the beginning we would do narrative therapy, which is the patient, writing about what I'm feeling, or writing about what I'm going through in those moments, or writing about the things that I've suppressed, or things that I've dug deep and was pulling up. And I'm like, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know how to express these feelings. And I was right. And so now being at this stage where I'm able to just openly, authentically express using my voice, it's amazing. Like, it's such a good feeling to be able to
You feel
sit
liberated.
here. Huh?
You feel liberated.
Yeah, empowered.
I'm about to do just like this.
Seriously, I do. It's like really like, wow, I probably never ever thought in a million years that I would get to this point in my life where I'm able to listen. We need to have a conversation, or just even friends, or texting people things that I probably would never text, or saying things, or really just expressing how I feel. Yeah. Yeah.
So you've really grown when you're able to express how you feel to friends and family, especially those ones who are like closely connected to you. Those ones, I'm not gonna say necessarily that you look up to, but the ones who you feel their opinions matter. And to be able to say how you feel about certain things that they may have done or that they do and or say, it's not the easiest thing.
Yeah.
But it's a necessary thing.
It's a healthy thing to do.
Yes. In order to stay in that positive state of being, you really have to, because if anything that a person does or say is offensive to you and you don't express, like, listen, I feel offended when da-da-da, and you don't express that, it's going to keep happening over and over and over again. And you don't
awareness
exactly
in those situations.
But you got to first be aware of yourself. Okay?
Hello.
So, like, you just really have to, so
do the work. You got to get through it. You got to get
the complexity of a mother-daughter relationship, and really any relationship, it starts with you.
Yeah, it starts with you.
It starts with you.
Digging deep.
Yes, indeed.
Digging deep, accepting limitations, and encouraging trust and evolution, honoring dreams and time, and stop judging. Those are the 5 things. And when I found that article, I was like, wow, like I really could walk you step by step and say, okay, I did this, we did that, and that's what made me, want to share those things with you guys. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, stories.
I got a story. Okay, so I'm sorry, but like for real, the judging part, the thing that came to my mind, I have a friend who told me that I was very judgmental. Now, I ain't gonna tell y'all no story. I'm that person that I tend to think that I'm not judgmental because I let people be who they are. You have free will to do and be just who you are. So I don't agree with that. But the reason why he said this is because I have an opinion about it. And I said, because I have an opinion about it doesn't mean that I'm judgmental.
Nah, not at all.
I'm entitled to feel, think, and believe.
Everybody entitled.
Well, think and believe is pretty much the same thing. But I'm entitled to have that. I can have that, But I'm not judging you based on what you're doing. You can do it if you want to. But from my moral stance, I'm not doing that. That's not me. That's not I. I'm not built that way,
Yeah.
you know. So I'm not gonna tell you what he was talking about, but I'm not built. I'm not built that way, so I can't do that. Like I can't do that
Yeah.
because I have morals, and my morals prevent me from doing certain things. I don't judge you because you decide to do that's your business.
Mhm.
I really don't care because that's on you.
Hello.
So yeah. So, like, you know, just because you have an opinion about a thing doesn't mean that you're judgmental. You're
Yeah.
entitled to think and do according to what's best for you. You know, that don't mean you're judgmental. I really don't believe that means you're judgmental. And I'm not just saying that because it relates to me, but I feel that it's true in that statement. Anyway.
So yeah, learn the difference between opinion giving and judging. That's how you can, learn. But I know in my case, I was doing some judging, okay?
And that's what I try not to do.
Yeah.
Because you don't know the person's story.
Yeah.
You know, even if you do know their story, you don't really know how they feel about the story. So they're going to choose and do what they feel is best for them. And rightfully so. I understand that. I understand that you have to do what's best for you because you are living for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're not living for other people. Hopefully you're not living for other people's approval. You know, because come on now. They're gonna judge you.
Whether you're doing good or bad.
Okay.
Whether you're alive or you're dead. They still gonna have something to say. So listen.
So that's all I have to say. I'm done with my last minute input.
Well, I guess that wraps up this episode.
Yes.
This segment we'll be talking about like raising children next week. I guess we'll do it takes a village to raise a child. Yeah. Yeah,
we're gonna touch bases on that, and until next week, we'll
like, comment, subscribe, tag your friends.
Please do. Okay. Please. We want to hear what y'all got to say too.
Not for me.